Biological sex is something which is often misunderstood and misrepresented, in particular by those who oppose trans rights. Much of the time, their misrepresentations of biology are used to try to deny trans rights or trans identities. These misrepresentations are often labelled as basic biology. This means that they have summarized or twisted the truth of biology to make it fit their narrative. They have made biology basic. Twisting the facts of science can be dangerous territory, and we should always instead represent the truth. So what is biological sex? Well, it is a man-made system of categorizing humans into two groups. These groups are based on various different traits that are present in human beings, but we normally summarize them into about 5 main traits known as sexual characteristics. First of all, you have your primary sex characteristics. These are your genitals and whether you have a uterus or a prostate or both or neither. Then you have your secondary sex characteristics, which are things which develop during puberty. You may grow breasts, body hair, facial hair, and your voice might break and become very deep. Gonads are things which develop in your body when you are in utero, and they become either ovaries or testes, or you might have both or neither. You then have your hormones and your chromosomes. All 5 of these characteristics exist on a scale, with fully female at one end and fully male at the other. Some people are fully female in every characteristic of their biology. Some are fully male in every characteristic of their biology, and some people have one or more characteristic where they are somewhere in between. This is called having a sex which isn't binary. You may have ambiguous genitalia, you may be an assigned female person with extra male hormones, you may be an assigned male person with a random ovary, you may be an assigned male person who has some typically female traits due to having androgen insensitivity syndrome. You may have an extra chromosome that you don't even know about. There are many ways to be off the binary when it comes to biological sex. If you are off the binary, that is, if you're in the middle somewhere, in one or more of your characteristics, then you may be intersex. Being intersex does not impact your gender or how you identify yourself. You may be a cis woman with extra male hormones due to a genetic defect. You're still a cis woman. You may be a cis man with an ovary. You're still a cis man. You're just also intersex. Not only are our characteristics not binary, but instead a scale, they're also not immutable, which means that they can change. Someone who is assigned male can take hormones which, as well as obviously changing their hormone balance, also change their secondary sex characteristics. They cause them to grow breasts and also to grow less facial hair and body hair. That person has then moved along the scale in at least 2 characteristics of their sex. They may not have changed every characteristic of their sex, and they may not have changed anything fully from one side to the other, but it has changed nevertheless. Some people who deny trans identities claim that your sex hasn't changed unless every cell in your body has changed its chromosomes. This is another example of pseudoscience. Many of the cells in your body are bacteria and other cells which do not carry chromosomes. The cells which do carry chromosomes are mainly controlled by hormones, so they absolutely can be changed. As for having to change all of your chromosomes for change to have occurred, the light isn't all the way off, therefore the lighting hasn't changed. The volume has not changed. Scales are not binaries and cannot be forced to behave like binaries in order to adhere to an ideology. Changing your sex by 1% or 99% is changing your sex. However, there are still people who fight to keep biology basic and to deny scientific facts in order to promote an ideology. These people often describe statements of science as saying that sex isn't real. But this is not the case. Stating that sex is not binary is not saying that it isn't real. Stating that sex categories are socially constructed is not saying that sex isn't real. Stating that sex can change is not saying that it isn't real, and it's important to remember that.